it's about 3 hours after the Mets game ended, and I finally turned on the camera to record a video because, man, that game got me a little more than I expected it. Now, I'll explain why, and I think it will make a lot of sense to you why this one felt a little bit more than some other games that I've watched of my favorite players last game, specifically Mike Piazza. But before we get going into anything, I need to do this for David Wright. That's a standing ovation. He deserves it. Because let's be honest, I've made multiple videos on this channel talking about how I really did not know if David Wright was ever going to come back. And from what it sounds like in interviews after the game, after he was removed from the game, I don't think he even really thought he was going to come back. He felt so just absolutely happy that the Mets let him come back this way, because from everything that he said, it seemed like this was an extreme struggle just to even play in this game. He wasn't healthy. He's still not healthy. He was healthy enough to get at least a little bit of playing time. So unless you guys were sleeping under a rock, you should know by now that David Wright has played his last game in Major League Baseball for the New York Mets, the only team he's ever played for, ever been a part of in Major League Baseball during his career. As you can tell, I'm a Mets fan, but most of you are probably already from the channel, but if you're not, welcome. I'm a Mets fan. Hate the Yankees, you know, the typical stuff. So he played in his final game today. He got 2 at-bats, got to play about 4 innings in the field. He got removed in the 5th, and we'll go through all that. And it really was just an absolutely incredible game to honor David Wright. I mean, if you watched it, which I know probably most of you didn't because there was a lot of really close baseball games on with playoff implications. But if you have not watched yet David Wright's ceremony and them removing him from the field, I suggest you do, because if you've ever played baseball in your life, you're going to shed a tear. That one, ooh, I felt that. So let's talk about the game, and then we'll go into talking about how I'm soft and, yeah, I shed a tear or two.
There's no crying in baseball!
I mean, I wasn't crying, but there was definitely some water pooling up underneath these eyes. So David Wright's last game, playing third base, hitting third in the lineup. Jose Reyes playing shortstop, leading off just like the good old days, the prime of the New York Mets and David Wright. So that was awesome just to start. David and Jose have been great friends. They're boys, so it's good to see the boys back out on the field. So first inning, Jose Reyes comes up, hits a double down the line. You're like, oh my God. It's playing out perfectly. David Wright has a chance to drive in Jose Reyes. Like, what is happening? Jeff McNeil comes up. Beautiful decision to sacrifice bunt. I think that was the plan. They were like, if Reyes gets in scoring position or gets on second base or first base, we're going to sacrifice him over so David Wright has a chance to drive him in. So McNeil bunts it. Does a great job. Reyes moves on over to third, 1 out. So David Wright comes up, has a chance to drive in Jose Reyes. I mean, can you draw it up any better than that? Unfortunately, didn't get many pitches to hit. Somehow managed a walk, which I can't even imagine. I don't know how he wasn't swinging. I know if it was me, I'm swinging out of my shoes. I'm trying to hit a home run every single pitch. But that just speaks to David Wright. The dude, till his last at-bat, was an absolute professional and was doing what was best for the team. I mean, the Mets aren't playing meaningful baseball, and this guy takes a walk in the game honoring him. Everyone wants to see him hit. What does he do? He walks, because that was the right thing to do. I mean, he's just such a good dude. So he walks, Conforto hits into a double play, innings over, no run scored. As you can tell, no run score for a while because the Mets played extra innings. Fast forward a little bit, David Wright finally gets a ground ball hit to him in the game. One hopper right to him, nice easy play, makes a nice strong throw to first, gets the out. The crowd goes wild, as you can imagine. David Wright finally comes up for his last at-bat, bottom of the 4th inning, and unfortunately, it was so unfortunate, not enough wind blowing out into foul territory, but he hits a pop-up into foul territory. First baseman Peter O'Brien catches it. That's David Wright's final at-bat as a Met. Shout out to Met fans, by the way, for booing Peter O'Brien the rest of the game. I love it, even though he really doesn't deserve it, but that's the right thing to do. And I think Peter O'Brien would agree. He should get booed for catching David Wright's foul ball. Like, come on, miss it, bro. Let him hit. Wright comes back into the dugout. Dude is smiling ear to ear still. He does not care. He's just so happy to be out on the field. Part of the reason why this was such an amazing game, such an amazing job by David Wright in the New York Mets. Goes back out onto the field. You don't really know if he's going to get another at-bat. You're like, are the Mets going to stick to the plan? 2 at-bats, moving to the 5th, or are they going to let him get one more? Because, like, you want him to end with a hit. Well, you knew that it was over when Mickey Callaway came out onto the steps, and David Wright gave Jose Reyes a big hug. David Wright had played his final game, his final at-bat as a New York Met. And I'd be lying to you if I told you I wasn't getting a little choked up. David Wright goes around, hugs all his teammates, gives, high fives to the umpires, tips his cap to the Marlins, all that good stuff. Waves goodbye to the fans. Woo! That was pulling at the heartstrings. I mean, he was sobbing, obviously. His eyes were all red. I imagine his family was very, emotional as well. But as just a regular old Met fan, I couldn't believe the reaction that I had. I mean, I wasn't sobbing. I wasn't going like, but I was definitely a little cloudy-eyed. Which is weird because my favorite Mets player of all time is Mike Piazza. David Wright is very high up there. Don't worry. He's probably number 2. But the point of bringing that up is that I went to Mike Piazza's last game as a Met. And granted, I was very young at the time. but I didn't really feel any emotions. I was just upset that he's not going to be a Met anymore. But now, being 22 years old, I know I haven't experienced everything in my life, but this felt really close to home. And I think for those of you watching, I probably have a lot of younger kids watching this because that seems to be what my audience is. But for those of you who are older and maybe done with your baseball playing days, I think we're going to have a very similar experience with this and have very similar feelings. And that's because this game felt very relatable. I'm pretty sure almost all of us that watch my YouTube videos, baseball career ended in high school or at least college. I don't think I have very many former or current MLB players watching my videos. So at some point, everybody who's watching this video's baseball career has ended. And at the time, you kind of don't realize it, but it is a terrible feeling. I mean, watching this over, I'm like, oh my God, I hate that baseball ended. I was obsessed with baseball as a kid. That's all I wanted to do was play baseball. And you can probably tell that now, considering I have a channel just built around talking about baseball. I need my fix. I coach in the summer. I do this YouTube thing. I'm constantly talking baseball on Twitter. I mean, it's pretty much a big part of my life. But like I said, what I think made this so much different and made me, you know, get a little choked up was that it was extremely relatable. Because I think back to my last baseball games playing, and it's like, damn, I miss this. Because when you watch David Wright these last couple nights playing, the dude had a huge smile on his face. He was just out there having fun. And it makes you think about all the times that you had playing baseball. I mean, hell, some of my best memories were on the baseball field. I made some of my best friends through baseball. I mean, it was such an integral part of my life. And it's weird to think about because now David Wright, his baseball career playing-wise is over, but he's obviously still going to be involved. And again, for me, I know I'm comparing myself to David Wright's career, which is crazy, but baseball is over for me playing-wise, but I'm still coaching, I'm still involved here, I'm still, you know, keeping in the loop. But it really doesn't hit you until something relatable happens. And like David Wright on his final game here, I'm like, holy shit, I don't play baseball anymore. Like, what? It's so sad. And you don't really realize it until it's over because by the time you start to be able to think on a higher level when you're not a little kid anymore, when you're kind of in high school and can think more deeply, your thoughts with baseball aren't necessarily about how much you're going to miss it. It's more about what is baseball going to do for me? How am I going to go to college and play baseball? How am I going to work on my swing today? What am I going to do? How can I make my game better? Am I going to go hang out with my friends today or am I going to practice? Am I going to play video games or am I going to go hit off the tee for 30 minutes? The game is still, I mean, I still had amazing time playing it, still had a lot of fun, but at some times, you don't necessarily wrap your head around that. You're just playing a game and that one day it's all going to end. Woo! And watching David Wright's last game really brought up those feelings for me again. Because I wasn't one to cry at my last game. Like, I knew it was over. I'd come to peace with it. I knew, like, hey, next part of my life starting. But watching him play these last couple games and then watching him be sent off on the field, you're like, damn, this really is the best sport of all time. I mean, it's just the best. And I friggin' miss it. Which is why I talk to you guys every day on this channel about baseball. I need my fix. So yeah, I think that's why a lot of fans have really gotten this, like, very emotional reaction to this last game. It's because you can relate. This is all something we've gone through. We've all played our final games, whether we wanted to or not. I know Yankee fans are going to get upset, but this is different than the Derek Jeter game. The dude pretty much went out on top. He was just getting up there in age, but it wasn't because there was an injury holding him back or someone telling him he can't play anymore. He made that decision. But like David Wright, I'm pretty sure all of us watching this video did not make the decision ourselves to stop playing baseball. I don't think I have many current or former MLB players watching my videos. And I feel like this video is probably going to be a little bit all over the place, a little bit rambly, but really what you take out of this video is thank you, David Wright, for what you did for the New York Mets. I know it made a huge impact on my life and many others. Loved watching you play. So thank you for playing so hard every single day. Like you said in your interview with SNY, you felt like you were a Met from the day you were born. You wanted to be a Met. You felt like you bleed the blue and orange. You were one of us, and we could really tell that. And don't think it went unnoticed. We loved it. That's why you had such good support, because you really put your heart and soul into this team. Not a lot of players have done that for us. I mean, we are the lovable losers, and you wanted to be a part of us. You could have been a Yankee. You could have went to another team, but you wanted to be part of the New York Mets. So for that, I think I can speak on behalf of all Met fans. Thank you so much for being just an amazing player. One of the best Mets to ever play. Probably, honestly, the best Met, but I still got some Piazza bias. I'm sorry. Sad to see you go, but happy you got to end it in a game. I know it's been tough with the injuries, but you came back and you showed them that you're the boss. I'd love to know what you guys think about the David Wright last game in the comment section down below. Did you shed a tear like I did? Did you get a little choked up, or are you just a tough man and didn't cry once? I know who you are. You're lying. You cried. And if you didn't cry, what the hell's wrong with you? or you're like under the age of 15 and haven't played your last baseball game yet. Because if you have played your last baseball game, I promise you, you are going to feel this one. Yeah, so I think I'm going to just end the video here. That's pretty much it. Edit it, go to bed, upload it for you in the morning. David Wright, we're going to miss you, man. Hats off to you. And hopefully this is the end we see of you in the Mets organization. I'd love to see you around more. Thank you guys for watching. And yeah. Thank you, David Wright.